Talon number 13, written by James Tynion IV, art by Emmanuel Simeone. So last issue we had the whole thing of Talon basically coming back to Gotham, Butcher making a deal with Sebastian Clark saying, hey, let's kill Gotham City together. And yeah, it was just kind of a getting everything back into Gotham position and getting all the villains on one side. So we open up with the Court of Owls talking to Sarah, which is, of course, Casey's daughter, and having fully brainwashed her, they present her with her own Court of Owls mask. And Sarah's like, I miss my mommy. And she's like, oh, yes, of course you miss your mommy, but you're part of our group now, so get over that. And don't you love us too? Don't you love us more than your mommy? So we then see that Talon and his group, along with Sarah's people, have been going all around Gotham, searching everywhere they can for any hint of the Court of Owls, because they've essentially just disappeared post everything else going on, and they can't find anything. And specifically, that's upsetting Calvin, because that means they can't find Sarah. That's the primary goal here now. So we go to the Harbor House, which is where the Court of Owls had their headquarters and where they ended up all dying at the end of the original Batman arc. And Sebastian is being walked through it by a real estate agent, basically saying like, oh yes, I heard this was place Court of Owls. Hey, could you show me the room where they all died? And he makes his way in there. And he asks the real estate agent, like, do you believe in the Court of Owls? And the real estate's like, not really, but like this place does have a major owl theme to it, if that's your bag. And then all of a sudden, the Butcher pops out through a painting of an owl and starts killing the real estate agent. And Sebastian's like, well, I guess I'm taking this place back over again because it was rightfully mine before it was ripped away from me by Lincoln March and Batman. So at this point, he looks out the window, and apparently they're right across the street from the Orchard Hotel. And we see the whole team, I want to say Team Talon, but that makes it sound like the evil side. So Calvin's team, they're going over all the places that could be left. Calvin's really pushing for Amusement Mile. He really thinks that that's a strong point. But the rest of the group is like, look, we had this thing once where we were looking for some people. And we thought they would have had like this big headquarters, this place where like they had to be. But there weren't. Everyone was just living in their own houses, and they just met up when it was like at one of those places. It wasn't a central place we were looking for. And so despite the fact that the Orchard Hotel has had like all of its wealth and stuff melted down, like way back in issue like 4, the hotel is still owned by the Court of Owls. So likely its people are all just living in there. And Calvin still doesn't think it's the case, but Sarah's like, Casey's like, all right, you go check out the hotel because you've already been in it. You know the place a bit better. My guys will go check out Amusement Mile. Okay. And as the other guys leave, Calvin and Sarah have a little moment. Sorry, Casey. Don't know why I keep messing that up. Calvin and Casey have a little moment, and it's like, oh yeah, I love you, and we'll be sure to get Sarah back. So over at the Orchard Hotel, we see the head, Wycliffe, from the Court of Owls, making his way into a secret room, and as he goes in there, he sees a whole bunch of owls dead inside, and he's like, oh god, he's here, oh geez. So he starts calling people up, heading into a secured place, and as he gets into a room, Calvin intercepts, being like, hey, you sent me to Santa Prisca and you expected me to die, but I'm still here. Tell me where Sarah is. And Wycliffe's like, dude, bigger problems right now than you. And he's like, you don't got bigger problems than me. And then as he's asking where Sarah is, little voice behind says, I'm right here. And we see Sarah and the Butcher are hand in hand. So at the heart of the hotel, the place that was all melted down, we see Sebastian making his way in with a bomb. And he's like, well, I always thought this place was a bit gaudy, but hey, it's gonna do me some good here. And we see the dude who was like melted down in there. He's still there and he's still conscious. He's just stuck there. And he's like, well, at least this will be the sweet release of death for you. I mean, probably. We'll see. Bye. So at that point, Casey gets up and, she's still missing an arm and an eye. And she's talking to one of her guys and just like, look, Calvin has gone quiet. it's definitely going to be the Orchard Hotel. We got to move in. And the guy's like, Batman said that if we moved in without his permission, he would come and get us. And it's like, yeah, well, tough. This isn't Batman's fight. So at that point, Calvin basically taunts the Butcher into letting Casey go, or letting Sarah go, setting her down, and starting a fight to the death. Meanwhile, Wycliffe has managed to escape the room. He's starting to make his way out. He wants to evacuate, but then Sebastian cuts him off, knees him in the balls, and just leaves him in the elevator saying like, oh, Sebastian, or oh, Wycliffe, you shouldn't have crossed me. You knew how this had to end. And he says that he's about to like bomb the place, blow the whole place up. And Wycliffe's like, dude, you're going to die too then. We got to get out of here. And he's like, no, not before you. So then Sebastian shoots him in the head, goes down to where Sarah is, and basically is like, hey, did you know Calvin is upstairs and he's fighting against Butcher? You want to go see that? And she's like, yeah, I want to be the one who kills Calvin. Let's kill him dead. Let's shoot him in the head. So, yeah, she's messed up now. A fight between Calvin and the Butcher goes off, and we see that Calvin manages to get a bomb on the back of the Butcher, and it blows up but doesn't do that much damage to him, and he's just like, all right, well, I've had enough of this. Time to kill you now. So he pulls out a syringe, which, I don't know, like 4 or 5 issues ago was going to be used to kill Strix from the Birds of Prey crossover, and he's got one now. He's like, now I'm going to use this on you, and you're going to just slowly dissolve into a puddle of goo. And then Sebastian comes up saying like, hey, I'm your Grandmaster. I order you to back off. And Butcher's like, no, screw that. I want to kill. So he injects the syringe into Calvin's neck, but then all of a sudden, wall explodes next to them. Syringe manages to come out of the body without without much fluid going in. He's not okay. He's like foaming from the mouth. And as Sarah is screaming out like, no, I wanted to see him die. Let him die. Let him burn. We see Casey and her whole gang coming in. Casey's got a like 90s as hell cybernetic gun arm. And it's like, all right, time to end this once and for all. So, yeah, next issue, big fight. Might even be the finale. Not of the book. That has another 3 issues afterwards. But of this arc, who knows? I like it. I think it's fine. I don't know. Something about the pacing. I'm not even sure what it is. There's just something about like how it was paced out. Maybe it is the idea that like they were told you got to wrap this up, because I know I've mentioned this before, but I did actually talk to James Tynion years and years ago, and he basically said that he was kicked off this book more or less right before it ended, and then the last few issues were given to someone else. I wonder if this is just a thing where he was told like, all right, you're wrapping up next issue or the issue afterwards, and then you just got to be gone. And he's just really quickly trying to get this all through and done with. I'm not sure, but that's kind of the way it feels. It just feels a bit too fast paced. But hey, it's at least wrapping up all the plot lines well enough here. I'm interested in it. I'd still say this is probably like a 6.5. Not fantastic, but not, below average. It's a fine enough book, and I'm curious to see how we wrap it up. So yeah, we'll see when we get there.